Hey guys, Youthful Yields here. Today we're going to be going over the portfolio for the week. So to start off, you can see here kind of a mixed bag as usual, but there's a few industries that are seemingly doing pretty well and seemingly not doing too well. So we can see like software application here, software as a whole really, besides these here. There's the finances. Those aren't doing very well either. A lot of the consumer discretionary and healthcare as well, but industrials, energy, utilities, real estate, materials are all doing pretty well, as well as semiconductors are doing pretty good, except for Qualcomm. But yeah, um, yeah. So look at the last week of the portfolio. You can see here that we are down about 0.4%, but the SPY is down 0.35%. Sorry, 0.04%, but SPY is down 0.35%. So we're beating it there, which is super nice. But you can see here though that for the last month, since January, SPY is actually barely beating us out here. And if we look on Composer as well, it's beating us out there as well. So eventually we'll come back up, hopefully, but only time will tell. A lot of this does actually come from the fact that in the last 30 days, our Webull portfolio has started to fall apart again. So that's because Bitcoin keeps going back up. You can see right now, Bitcoin is at 95 almost. So it's gone up since, you know, the last year. I'm actually kind of surprised, but we will see where that takes us. Obviously, I don't know Bitcoin and crypto stuff like that deep in terms of technicals and whatnot. So I don't know. We'll see. But you can see that despite that, our M1 Finance actually was up about 1%, which is pretty cool. So yeah, going to the Composer stuff though, we can see here that Friday ended off pretty decent on this one. This is our main portfolio here. But yeah, you can see that a lot of these. So I have this plugin that shows me this. Basically, the CAGR and the P&L percentage are what we really care about the most. You can see here that ours here at the top, the biggest one is 41% CAGR, which is not too bad actually. Our current P&L is 1.5%, so not amazing, but not super bad. But we have some other ones that are a little bit more risky. You can see this Beam Algo Test 1 is sitting about 150% with a P&L of almost 8% up, which is kind of crazy. You can see here as well on the other ones that they're doing pretty well. There's like these three down here that aren't doing like amazing, and then these three that are doing like, pretty decent. In fact, if we go over to ICDB as well, or again, let me log in real quick. If we take a look at my page here, in terms of the ones that are like these three, so minimum variance, park your money, and Beam Algo. You can see Beam Algo, this one, the deviation score is actually really low. Minimum variance is pretty high. It's not like amazing or like super high, but it's not amazing. And then park your money here is sitting around 12, so it's also not too high. But if you look at cumulative return here, Beam Algo is surprisingly super good right now. Which is funny because a lot of people consider this one overfit, but it just shows you that, yeah, sometimes you can be overfit, but it doesn't mean you won't be successful. So, at least for the short term, that's doing very well right now. So my thoughts, what I'm going to do, because not only is it the 18th, I got to put some more money into this, both the entire portfolio, but I also got I got a deal earlier this month that gave me a little bit of extra income. So I'm thinking about also adding another 2K in addition to the 3K. So this is going to be 5K this month that I'm going to be putting in. I'm trying to determine what I put in total because usually we do half and half, like 1500 here, 1500 here. But I might do more in the Composer portfolio because I'm trying to target a lot of that, um, hyper growth. So I might do the 1500 into this portfolio still. Maybe like 2000 or like 2500 and then the rest in here. I'm not sure quite yet, but we'll see. Or maybe I could do 2K in here and 3K in here. And I might be looking at adding some additional ones and dropping the old ones. You can see here I have a watch list right now. And that's these are how these have done so far since their CAGR or their OOS. So not too bad. They're a lot more risky. You can see the max drawdown's a lot higher. So these would be a small percentage of my portfolio, but ultimately that's the price that you have to pay for uh, high returns, like high risk, high reward kind of thing, right? So, but what's really important about these is they're all above like 80% backtest to OSS or OS ratio. And their sharps are pretty high, as well as their obviously their Geiger is very high. So we will see how those perform. Yeah, or I guess we'll go into the M1 Finance stuff now. If I take a look at the week view, you can see here this one is up, like I said, like 1%. Biggest then ones there are industrials. You can see that RTX up 7%. The other two up about 5%, 5.5%, so pretty good. Real estate, the biggest gainer here was AMT. Finally, I will go into the holdings in a second, but man, we have been waiting on this one to start to come back up, and sure enough, it has done just that this week, which is nice. And then semiconductors, the biggest gain here was AMD with 14% gain, which is astronomically high. I couldn't tell you what that was. I think it actually went down the other week, so yeah, maybe that's just a recoup, but we'll see. Financials, biggest loser there was Visa and MasterCard collectively. There was a huge thing, obviously, with the Trump announcement and the stuff, so I think a lot of consumers are a little bit fearful of this, but I don't think anything's going to really happen if you ask me. We will see, though. Never know with this current presidency. Nothing political about that, but it's obviously a lot more volatile than others. With the which one is this? Healthcare Vertex is down about 5%, which sucks, but And last but not least, technology. The biggest loser there was Microsoft. Now, if we look at the activity panel to see if we had any dividends, we did. We had 2 dividends. Technically, one from one company, which was about $1.70 or something like that, and then we also got 12 cents from security lending interest. So there's that. Going into our holdings and sorting my unrealized gain, you can see AMD is back on the top, just above Google, and they're both around 100%, which is awesome. RTX is starting to climb, and same with Morgan Stanley, which is awesome. If we go look at the unrealized gain stuff, you can see here that the Southern companies just on the border, so we're not even going to count that. AMT still has a lot of work to go. Same with Procter & Gamble, but what's really awesome is Costco is finally out of the rut that we were sitting in for so long. Holy moly. Visa and MasterCard, I do not doubt that these will eventually shift back up. So no worries on that. But yeah, a very good start. Out of the 30 stocks that we hold, only 5 of them are technically negative, and I'd only count that as about 4 because Southern Company could literally flip tomorrow. So that's a really good ratio. And realistically, they're in the same sector too. So if the sector does bad, then that's going to hit us obviously pretty bad. So last but not least, the performance on the Webull side. So this week was pretty bad. You can see 6% down, 13% down, almost 8%, 8% down, then 9% up, and then 3% down. So for the week, you can see that we were down about 21% on Webull, which really sucks, but not much we can really do except just stay in there. I don't have any intentions on selling this anytime soon. I still think MSTR is a terrible company and will crash eventually, but we just have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, that is it for me. And I hope you guys are all having a great week and continue having a great week. And yeah, that's it for me. But as always, I wish you guys a wealthy future.